Rock Hudson joined the cast of Dynasty in 1984, and he shocked viewers when they saw that the once robust leading man looked frail and haggard. Now, at that time, the world, including his castmates, knew little about AIDS, and after his infamous kiss with Linda Evans, well, it set off a panic in Hollywood.
I believe in working hard, and I believe in doing the best I can. Well, if you get lazy or tired of something, then you don't do your best work.
It was the last day of 1984, and Rock Hudson was spending what would be his final New Year's Eve working. He looked tired and drawn, and no one suspected he had AIDS. And on that day, he was to share that romantic kiss with Linda Evans.
I want you, Christy. So much, so very much.
It was the kiss that launched 1,000 headlines. But what became a media firestorm first began when Dynasty's producers sought to have the legendary star join the show.
He was a giant star. Even that name, an ex-truck driver who changes his name to Rock Hudson. Come on, that's a star. That's meant to be a star.
At the time, Rock was in Paris, secretly undergoing experimental AIDS treatment. Esther Shapiro flew there to meet him at the Ritz Hotel.
He came down and he was very gracious, and we talked about it. He said, well, do you want me to read this script? I said, well, would you? And he said he would. And so at the end of the evening, he says, well, you know what? I like you, he said, and I'm going to do it.
Rock signed to do 6 episodes, playing Linda Evans' new love interest.
I think he's a divine actor. He's wonderfully romantic. He's a lovely man.
He came in, and we noticed he was thinner than usual, and we didn't suspect anything else.
That December day on the set, former E.T. correspondent Lisa Gibbons spoke to Rock for one of his last TV interviews.
There's an ensemble cast on this show. What's it like not being the star?
Well, it's fine. It was a little nervous making the first day. I mean, you're walking into a family, aren't you? And but once that first day is over with, first day jitters, in other words, I have that in every film I do. But once that's over with, was fine.
But Rock admitted he didn't plan to stay long on Dynasty. Perhaps he knew his time was running out.
I don't like being on every week, where scenes just become so unimportant that it becomes like sawdust.
What is it? Are you thinking about Blake? That you're his wife and the mother of his child?
After he was on for quite a few episodes, it seemed he was tired, you know.
He would go back to his dressing room and sleep for as long as he could, and then they'd wake him up and he'd come out again.
His condition deteriorated steadily.
And then he came to us and said, I don't think I could work much longer. And I want to give you notice so you could write me out.
Unfortunately, he was sick at the time.
But before he would leave the show, he was given the script for an upcoming episode that posed a serious dilemma.
Is this the first kiss scene?
Yeah.
The scene called for Rock to kiss Linda. Now, keep in mind that in 1984, no one was yet certain how AIDS could be transmitted. Sarah Davidson was Hudson's biographer.
And he went into his secretary and said, I've got to kiss her. What am I going to do? I can't tell her, and I can't say I can't do the kiss. That's not professional. They'll ask why. And he agonized about that. What should he do? And he finally decided if he wanted to work, he had to kiss the girl in the scene and do it. So he did.
I want you, Christy. So much, so very much.
Mr. Rock Hudson has acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which was diagnosed over a year ago in the United States.
The announcement in Paris a few months later shook the entire world. On the set of Dynasty, it was nervous time.
We were told by a lot of medical people that AIDS can be transmitted that way by kissing. And I just so scared for Linda and so worried for her. And in those days, no one knew a damn thing about AIDS, and it was panic time.
Yes, I think she was very nervous. She wouldn't show it, but I think she had been.
And the scare was so strong that I remember the weeks where there was some scare with Linda Evans having to be tested.
Everyone looked to Linda to see if she would panic, and she never did.
In fact, Linda was more concerned with how Rock was at the time, says longtime Hudson friend Stockton Briggle.
Linda Evans called Rock and said, "Don't worry about it. I'm fine. I'm not concerned. Don't you be."
But while Evans may not have been personally concerned, fear in Hollywood was on the rise.
It became a terrible atmosphere in the entertainment industry because people panicked. They became paranoid.
It was very unsettling. It really was very unsettling. Kisses were written out of scripts.
As for Rock, his role on Dynasty would prove to be his last. He returned home from Paris, and in a matter of weeks, the one-time robust and powerful screen legend was gone.
When Rock Hudson died, he weighed 125 pounds. He had lost 100 pounds.
His death was felt the world over, and for those with whom he had shared his final performance, news of his loss was keenly felt.
When Rock passed away, it was just, we shut down for the day, and we miss him. He's a great guy.
Rock Hudson's body was cremated immediately after his death, and his friends scattered his ashes over the Pacific Ocean. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
When Dynasty ended, there were thousands of glamorous outfits left in a studio warehouse until the 1991 movie Soap Dish. Then extras in an award show scene wore the clothes that had once adorned Linda Evans and Joan Collins.
I love that. Well, we're going to leave you today with a preview of our show for next weekend, The Dukes of Hazzard, The Untold Story. Take care. We'll see you.
Coming out of a show that's a phenomenon like this one, like The Dukes of Hazzard, it kind of overshadows everything a great deal.
Hey, boss. Afternoon. You know, it's going to take you a pretty penny to put this car back in shape.
We'd done 5 shows in Georgia. We came out here. We went to the first affiliates meeting over in Century City. And they hated us. I mean, they could not stand us. They were, you know, such snobs.
Let me tell you how the Daisy Dukes came to be.
Entertainment Tonight, always there.